It's nice to be here today. Thank you for having me. I see a few faces that I recognize. I want you to know I've been where you all are. I was 24 when I was in your situation. Let's see, what else can I tell you? As you know, I work at Ashland Children's Clinic. I've been there for 10 years. I'm the practice administrator, but I do everything, as Melissa and Chidi can testify to. My very first day on the job, I literally had to, what do you call it, the plumbing in the toilet backed up. You know, that was my very first day as administrator. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, even though you are all either doing medical assisting, medical front office, coding, medical auditing, whatever you're doing, you know, just be prepared for anything, because you never know what the job is going to bring. And sometimes in that position, it's make or break if you're not willing to do what needs to be done. Okay. I didn't really prepare a speech. I thought it would be more fun to interact. I'm sure you guys have lots of questions. If you don't, I'll come up with a few. I brought some examples for things in case you ask me questions about certain things. So why don't we start with, Melissa, why don't we start with you, and you ask me a question, or tell me something about your experience in my office that totally amazed you.
The write-offs.
Okay.
The write-offs really blew my mind, because I don't. That's what I told them. I said I don't see how the doors stay open if you all have to write off so much stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh wow. Yeah. I
have two examples. I think there's 20 each here.
Okay.
Let me keep one of each just in case.
Okay.
There's one. This is an example of a two different insurance companies. We're pediatricians, so we do not take Medicare. We take just about everything else. All the Medicaid managed care plans, commercial insurances, United Healthcare, Aetna, Blue Cross, Anthem, as we call it. You name it, chances are we take it or participate in it. And in that participation, you have contracts. You have set fees that are allowables, as we call them, that they're going to pay you. Or they allow, if you have an office visit that's $100, your charge is $100, the insurance company allows $95, then you have to write off the difference. So we all have fee schedules, and we all have contract rates. Whether it be any of the insurance companies, you either have a contract with them where you negotiate your fees, or like Anthem, it doesn't matter who you are, they have set contract rates. They don't negotiate. So you have two pieces of paper in front of you. One of them is WellCare. You'll see WellCare written here. And this one is Anthem, and the second line also says Anthem. So on the bottom, I have notated that with WellCare, for example, our write-off rate is 54% of our fee. I don't know, does that seem a little high to you guys? 54%? Okay. And Anthem, which is, you all know what Anthem Blue Cross is, right? I mean, it's a commercial insurance. It's nationwide, not Anthem, but Blue Cross is nationwide, and it's Anthem here in this Kentucky region. 51% of our fee schedule is written off.
When you say that, is it because you got a contract with them? Because, like when you get your bill,
Yes.
it has like your discount, because
Yes.
of the insurance and it.
Yep.
And is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Right off.
Yes. Our, for example, okay, let's take a look at the Anthem one since we mentioned that. The very first charge is a 99212, okay? Hopefully you guys have had a little bit of billing and coding. You know that a 99212 is an E&M code. It's an office visit. It's not the lowest code. The lowest code is 99211. So a 212 is second level. It's a very basic office visit. We charge $75, and we adjust off $36.42. Now, the payment we received was only $13.58 because they have a copay or coinsurance, and the rest of it is due from the patient. I don't think that our office fees are high compared to a lot of offices. Pediatricians are the lowest paid physicians, you know. Let's see, a level 3, the third one down is a 99213. We charge $105. We adjust off $36.16. So let's see. The second one, 54150, that's a circumcision on a newborn baby. We adjust off $442.33.
Wow.
Okay? Now, if you, let's see if I took the one on. I don't have one on the Medicaid fee schedule. But I can tell you that the Medicaid fee schedule for a circumcision is like $76 is what we get paid. So it's not even worth a doctor's time to go to the hospital and do a circumcision. You know, we do it, you know, and there's not very many pediatricians in the area that will do it anymore because it's not worth. At King's Daughters, for example, it takes them at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to do a circumcision. That takes 2 minutes to do.
Just
It's
getting prepared.
exactly. So my doctors are, I have 3, and 2 of them do not go to the hospital anymore. We have one that does all the newborns that are assigned to us or that come to us and then deliver at King's Daughters. You know, it's just, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's really just.
Why has it come to all that? I mean, is it just the insurance?
Well, insurance reimbursement is lower and lower and lower. There's not a whole lot of negotiating in any of them. There's no reason for it. There's no competition. You know, there really isn't. And with Anthem, you know, the only negotiating power you have is if your supply costs more than what they're currently allowing. I've had to negotiate, testing, for example, say a strep test kit. My reimbursement is lower than what that strep kit is costing me. If that kit costs me $15 and they're paying me $13, or their allowable is $13, so I have to go back, I have to send them an invoice, I have to type out a letter and say, hey, you know, this is the cost of what this is. Please update the fee schedule to at least cover my cost.
Does that usually work out?
You know, I'm at probably a 50%, 50-50, you know.
So that's why it's
harder
always
when
so
you have that.
important when you're coding.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also important when you're posting payments to pay attention to what you're posting. Now, with most of the electronic programs, it'll automatically post for you. You'll pull up the check and you'll hit post. And it posts everything, and it either writes off anything it doesn't recognize, or if you're not really familiar with what you're doing, you're just going to say write off anyway because you don't know. So it's really important, and that's the distinction between a data entry person and someone who's trained in billing and coding. To know not to write that off, to uncheck that box, and when you finish posting that check, go back and research why something didn't get paid. Because everything is automated with insurance companies nowadays, and they make mistakes. So it's up to us to find every last dollar, because every dollar has to count. You know, and Melissa, you'll testify to that. I mean, you know, she was very, very surprised, and Chidi, I'm sure you were too, weren't you? You know, and this is Medicaid, WellCare is Medicaid, and Anthem, you would think Anthem would be a whole lot better. It's not. 54%, 51%. Not a whole lot of difference. Any other questions on that?